The Snooze Radio Network is proud to present the real-life drama of how two young Norwegian Totnings, Christian and Berthe Maria Glasrud, and their young family found the courage and strength to give up the comfortable life of Brooker at the family farm and move to Minnesota. Tonight's program is brought to you by Tina's Lutefisk and Snooze Boutique, your one-stop shop for all your personal needs. The year is 1850, and Christian and Berthe Maria are living with Christian's parents, Johannes and Maria Hexam Glasrud, in the area of Vestre Toten, Norway. As we join them, we find they have just tucked their 5 children into bed. Helen Maria, 13, Johanna Karina, 11, Johannes, 7, Peter Anton, 4, and baby Georgine, 1. Berthe, I've got some good news and some bad news. What do you want first?
Well, let's have the good news first. I could use some good news. Your mother has been on my case about having so many children, and this house just isn't getting any bigger. And then there's your dad, who has been babbling all day about a pony running up the front steps of the house last night. So what's the good news?
The pony didn't break her leg, and she only broke one of the steps on her way out of the house.
I told you not to ride that pony into the house.
You also told me not to be walking about when I had too much akavit. I had to ride that pony just to get to bed.
All right, then, what's the bad news?
Papa wants us to move out of Glasrud Gard. He said something about a last straw. But I told him he couldn't cut me out. It was against the law.
I'll bet that little threat really put him in line. What do we do now, Christian? We can't go back to your grandparents' house. Your brother Hans and his family are already there, so there is no room at Hexam.
Mama told Papa that he would have to buy me out. You know that cute little farm just down the road, the one with the greenhouse? Glasrud Stuen? Well, Papa gave me that one.
You mean the one you always said wasn't fit to live in?
Well, yes, but you could take a closer look at it. It's not all that bad. I'm sure Papa will find someplace else for the sheep, and my brothers can move back into their place. Johannes and Ole haven't lived in a real house since they were kids.
Okay then, Christian, but let's get on with it. It's time we had a place of our own anyway. You're 37 years old and the father of 5 children. Helen Maria is already 13, and it won't be too many years before she will want to start her own family.
The current crisis is handled, and Christian and Berthe Maria find their way to Glasrud Stuen. Stay tuned for the next chapter in the life of Christian and Berthe Maria Glasrud when we hear 15-year-old Helen Maria say, "You've got to be kidding!" But now a word from our sponsors, the makers of Toten Snus.
Christian and Berthe Marie Glasrud, they came to America in 1853. Well, I think they just wanted more land, because in Norway you couldn't have much land, and there was one thing about him: if he had stayed in Norway, he could have gotten the home place there. See, the oldest child always got the home place, but then he rather wanted to come to America. So when they came over, they had set their trip, and the Glasruds had 2 sons and 2 daughters that came with them. And they had an older daughter, but I guess she had a boyfriend and she didn't want to leave him. So she didn't come when they did.
When Christian and Berthe Marie finally decided to leave for America, they no doubt said their goodbyes and went to Christiana and left on the sailing ship Deodata on April 28th, 1853, and they landed in Quebec, Canada, and from there they took a ship to Montreal, Canada, and there a ship to Toronto, and by rail to Detroit, and by rail to Chicago, and by steamship to Racine, Wisconsin, where they stayed for about a period of a year. There's where Gustav, their son, was born, and then they left by ox and wagon and left for Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, where they were ferried across the river and headed for Glenwood Township, where a lot of Norwegians had settled. There they stayed on for about another year before they headed north to Spring Grove, Norwegian Ridge, and then out to Wilmington Township, where they purchased their land.
Yeah, they settled on 280 acres of school land in Wilmington Township. And they did have some more children after they came to America, too.
Klaus Glasrud, their younger son, told his family that his dad felt more than prepared to go to the Civil War, and he even signed up for extra duty, which maybe spared some young man from, he took his place.
And because he had been in the military in Norway, so his oldest sons took care of the farming, and that one of them then was this Johannes, that was my great-grandfather. Yeah, he was in the Civil War from 1862 to 1865, and he was in that Wisconsin regiment. He was sick quite a bit, they said, and yeah, but he was nothing serious, nothing real serious. But of course, a lot of people died from different sicknesses there too, because the camps they stayed in were real poor. And the Glasruds did go out west for a while farming too, because with some of their family, before he died anyway, they had divided up a lot of their land. So some got land here, and then some got this land out in the Dakotas. But they said he was quite a rounder. My great-grandfather,